So I just finished watching This Side of Paradise. This was an interesting episode. It had a really good mystery in the beginning, which I was really getting into. The team goes down to this planet to investigate because there were some settlers there, but apparently nobody was supposed to survive because there's some sort of radiation on the planet that disintegrates tissue over the course of time. And they get there and they find that these people are alive and they're healthy. And then Bones begins doing some examination on them and he finds like they're all physically perfect. That one of these guys who was supposed to have had like scars and all this stuff before, they're completely gone. And like he was supposed to have his appendix taken out and now he has a fully functioning appendix. Wow, really great mystery. I was really getting into it. And then it started to slip into comedy. And that's where it lost me. Yeah, the jokes were kind of funny. Basically, there was like these plants that sprayed this pollen, and it made people change, and they were all happy, and it was paradise and whatnot. And that was funny. But it took away from this great mystery that they had started out with. I love the fact that they're there, and a couple of the crew members, I think Sulu was one of them, they go to a barn, but there's no animals in it, and they're talking about like, hey, have you ever been on a farm that has no animals? And they're looking at like the crops that they're growing, and there's not that many, and really great setup, building all this mystery, and then it just went downhill with the comedy. Had this episode stayed strictly a mystery drama or gone completely comedy route, I think that would have been a better choice, but mixing the two, it didn't work. I'm not saying that mixing comedy and suspense and horror doesn't work, because we've seen plenty of examples of the blending of the genres. I mean, look at something like Ghostbusters, which is probably my all-time favorite movie, but has great kind of suspense, horror, supernatural, sci-fi elements to it. Like, it really holds up well as like a sci-fi movie with the paranormal stuff. And if you don't find the movie funny, there's something wrong with you, because that movie is universally hailed as hysterical. So we have Ghostbusters, and look at a movie like Tucker and Dale versus Evil, or Galaxy Quest. We see a lot of stuff, or like I just finished watching Todd and the Book of Pure Evil. There's a lot of examples that do that well, that mix comedy with drama, suspense, and horror, sci-fi, all that sort of stuff. This did not do that well. It did not mix them well. And I think that's my problem with it, because when it's funny, it's really funny. But I felt myself distracted by the serious plot, trying to figure out what's going on, and then all of a sudden we cut to a scene of Nimoy being goofy. Yeah, didn't work in this one. I applaud them for trying to mix the two, because I really can't think of too many examples before this that did that genre blending. Yeah, there's the Abbott and Costello stuff, like Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, which is really, really funny. But of course, that has like that doesn't really bring in the horror element. It uses the classic Universal monsters, but at no point were they supposed to be scary. So yeah, looking at where that sort of genre went with things like Ghostbusters and Galaxy Quest and Tucker and Dale, even comic book form like Hack Slash by Tim Seeley, or even like Hellboy by Mike Mignola, that has some of the best horror writing ever. And it's also some of the funniest stuff I've ever read. Great genre. I love that genre. This, I would recommend it to people who love that mixing and stuff as kind of like an early example of it, but it's still not a good example. So that's my feelings on this episode. I don't think I would recommend this to the casual viewer, but if you want to see kind of the early stages of that genre of mixing horror, suspense, and sci-fi with comedy, this would be something I would recommend. So I will see you guys all later.